Consider this your trigger warning. The following program is strictly satire and is not meant to be taken seriously. So don't get all butthurt, you liberal snowflakes, just because we skewer your sacred cows and expose all your lies and hypocrisy. Truth hurts, and so does satire. So grab a drink, pull up a chair, and enjoy the show.
It's time to go. Hey, oh man, could you hear me talking with the camera off? Did that come through? No, I was singing some kind of hey song. Anyways, hey everyone, welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. Welcome to Studio Red. I tell you, we've got some real revelations coming in the world of SHTF. But I want to start with some really powerful ones. Just get them out of the way, throw them up there for you to see, for you to know, and then we'll get them out of the way. Let's start. That's right. You make the call in this sports Jim Jones juice intro. I tell you what, I remember when I was a kid, Monday Night Football, they had this thing called You Make the Call. And they'd show a play that got all jacked up, and then you got to decide, right, or say. And I loved that. So you make the call and be like, it's a penalty, or that's fine, or whatever. It's just something to do, right? A little trivia during a commercial. Well, you make the call here. What could it be? Chinese tennis star withdraws from tennis match after once again crashing, falling, failing, and collapsing on the court. And he also had a health scare at Wimbledon. What could it be? I wonder. Actually, I don't wonder. I know exactly what it is. I've got my opinion. You've got yours. And then we've got this. In New Jersey, the lieutenant governor has died suddenly. The same lieutenant governor, just like the tennis player weeks ago in Wimbledon had trouble, this same lieutenant governor of New Jersey has been previously rushed to the hospital for an undisclosed medical issue. Could it be Jim Jones juice? Or could it be...
Could it be Satan?
Satan's own juice, the Jim Jones juice. You betcha. You bet. I've got my thoughts. What's yours? And I tell you what, I can't leave it alone. I just have too much fun with these knotheads. Wow. I'm going to give you one more, folks. One more. And in a way, it's upsetting. Because I know what's out there, and it's in a lot of veins. It's in a lot of lungs, a lot of hearts, a lot of brains, a lot of limbs. People are falling apart. And don't worry, the CDC is going to have an annual booster for you if you want to be stupid. So once again, in the realm of sports, right, the Denver Broncos, KJ Hamler, none other than KJ. I don't even know who KJ Hamler is because I don't care about football. But he's a super athlete. And he has had to leave the field of making a ton of money. He's got to leave the field of play. He's got to do some recovery work. He's got to step back, step down, because he has told the world he has pericarditis. He's been diagnosed with heart issues. More super athletes. I mean, folks, get this. Tennis players. I used to play tennis as a young man. In high school, my brother and I would play tennis, and you'd run around. It'd kick your ass. You'd be so tired. These pro players are in amazing cardio shape. they're not running like a marathoner. They're going from 0 to 60, 0 to 60, 0 to 60, 0 to 60, 0 to back and forth, back and forth. And they do it all the time. They've done it for years. All of a sudden, though, tennis players falling over, collapsing, football players collapsing. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Now, I'm working my way up to the big stuff, but I have to take a pit stop at this piss poor place, right? Bud Light. Well, the beer distributors, now get this, folks, when you see a Budweiser truck in your neighborhood, or a Bud Light truck, or an Anheuser-Busch truck, or an InBev truck, that's a distributor. They buy, it's like a franchise. So they buy an area and they get to be the distributor for that area. They don't make the beer, they just sell the beer. They don't make the beer and make the decisions in Budweiser marketing. They benefit from that marketing through their franchise arrangement with InBev, Budweiser. And so they advertise, they put Budweiser stuff everywhere. Now, this is incredible. Budweiser distributors, these people that have paid millions of dollars to be able to sell this swill, they're now realizing and coming to the conclusion that sales are not going to recover because of Ms. Mulvaney. That's right, the transgender, transsexual, trans salad fruitcake has killed the company. And I want you to think about that face. And I can't even make that face, that geeky super smile, right? Think about the face, right? And the fruitcake life that goes with it. I can't imagine waking up every day, looking in the mirror and trying to tuck my weenie. Trying to figure, I can't imagine what it's like to be a guy and go, I'm going to go to the girls section. I mean, when are they going to make clothing gender free? Think about it. Think about it. Women's section, men's section. Do they have to keep that out for us cisgendered normie humans? Like, I don't know where to go in a store. I look for the men's clothing sign. There's a good indicator right there. When are they gonna, start feeling bad and say, we got to get rid of these gender-specific signs for men's shoes and men's underwear and men's clothing? It's just not right. What's amazing, though, is Budweiser needs to look in a mirror, too, and go, why did we try that? Why did we push it? Well, folks, they did, and then they didn't apologize, and then they pushed it some more. Then they patronized us. Then they pushed it some more. And their individual distributors also are responsible. The ones that go, well, that's just the way it is, but we're going to continue to sponsor Pride events. And it all happened prior to Pride Month. So we were all primed for the Pride, and we could fight back. And that's what I want you to do, is fight back, folks. Not violently, but intellectually, by prepping to action. That is what we have to do. That's what we're doing. And you are doing it. You're telling Budweiser, F you. No more of you, right? No more. Now get this, folks. We need to fight back against the government by calling, writing, texting. I wish there was a way that you could send a message that's a little stiffer, right? But I'm not recommending anything illegal, unlike the left-wing idiots who have some very, very destructive things going on. Not only do they murder children and mass murderers, threaten politicians, threaten you, beat people up on the street. Oh, they do much more than that, folks. Now, I want you to understand who we're up against. These people are complete basket case idiots, and it's an international problem. Oh, by the way, get your questions down below. Ooman, Jolene are ready to accept what you have to send. Now, get this. In Germany, the people there have been told that they have a moral obligation. That's right, a moral obligation. Oh, wait, this isn't the German Führer. This is the Green Party. A Green Party, you could say, congressman. They call them ministers of parliament, an MP. But Green Party, they're communists. Anyway, this jackass says that they have a moral obligation to sacrifice their living standard, to sacrifice their wealth. Can you imagine the moral obligation of reducing your living standard? How about, don't you remember when work hard, do better? Work hard so you can afford health insurance. Work hard so you can afford a vacation. Now it's you have to sacrifice yourself, your standard of living, the good things in life, your wealth. You may as well just say your health. Folks, only communists think this way, only them. And so we, us, America, we need to wake up. We need to wake up and prep to action and share that internet address on YouTube. Share it. Get it the fuck out there now. Do it. Right? And understand this and never forget this. While the average German or American, it might as well say American, because that's exactly what Joe Biden is prescribing, that we give up natural gas, that we give up gasoline, that we give up movement, that we give up air conditioning, that we give up everything, hot water heaters, give up everything. It's a moral obligation. It's a moral imperative to screw yourself right in the butt. And understand this and never, ever forget it. The rich do not sacrifice themselves. No, they do not. The rich sacrifice others, and the rich tell others to sacrifice themselves. That's exactly what Zelensky is doing. In Ukraine, Voldemort Zelensky is sacrificing tens of thousands of his people, sacrificing them by sending them to the meat grinder, the iron teeth of the Russian military. You don't see Zelensky on the front line like he's General MacArthur standing there with a corncob pipe on top of a rock and daring the enemy to try and blow him to pieces. No, 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 no. You'll see him show up in his little woolly-pulley fruitcake turtleneck looking thing, trying to look big when he's actually a mighty midget. Guy wouldn't come up to my nipples. I wouldn't let him get anywhere near him anyways. And he meets people and tries making it look very official, very tough, very military. He won't go anywhere near the front line, anywhere near the front line. But this is serious, folks. When I talk about sacrificing your way of life, they're going to go. They'll take 100% of what you got and give you back 30 or 40% of it and then go, see, you got some stuff back, right? They destroyed America with Cerveza bug, and then they give a little bit back and they go, see, it's like you're free again. Really? Well, folks, in the energy industry, it's a complete industry. You can call it the the energy industrial complex: oil, gas, uranium, nuclear, wind, solar. Right? They're all in there. That's part of the energy industry, though some are more at odds with others. But there is an energy industry group that is very concerned about the White House. They think that it's going to declare an energy emergency over the climate. Right? The U.S. Oil and Gas Association president. Sounds pretty important, right? Sounds like he's in the energy industry. Well, Tim Stewart, the president of the U.S. Oil and Gas Association, said they're leaning to that direction, meaning trying to say the climate crisis is a climate national emergency. He said this, and this article was published. If you grant the president emergency powers to declare a climate emergency, it's just like Cerveza bug, right? And it'll give the president, quote, vast and unchecked authority to shut down everything from communications to infrastructure. Now, Mr. Stewart, the president of the U.S. Oil and Gas Association, does not like Biden. And he, that's got to be honest, right? Got to be honest. He's a critic of the Biden administration. How can you blame him for being a critic after he shut down the Keystone Pipeline, shut down offshore drilling, onshore drilling, exploration, et cetera, et cetera. He says this: they can literally do exactly what they did in Cerveza Bug. If you disagree with the climate emergency, speech can be shut down. Remember that, folks. We disagreed with Cerveza Bug, shut you down. You disagree with the Jim Jones juice, shut you down. You get a strike, you get a strike, you get a strike, you're silenced. If you disagree with them, you can be shut down. He said, we really need to be paying attention to that because the power could be extended indefinitely until the climate emergency is over. Who knows how long that would last? This is what I have to say, folks. They tell us it's too hot at a time when it's hot. So we mentally agree with Biden and the US government it's too hot? Talk about fear porn. They're going to call summer an emergency. 3 months out of the year, every year, it's fucking hot. Every summer is hot. They always are. So trade our standard of living, sacrifice our standard of living, our wealth, sacrifice our freedoms to appease a doddering idiot in the socialist global order, the World Economic Forum? I don't think so. Prep to action. I implore you. Contact your representative and your senators at your state. The state senators that go to Washington, D.C., there's 2 of them. They both represent you. They don't represent the state interest anymore. They represent the people's interest. Contact them both and your House of Representatives representative. And then contact Kevin Jerkoff McCarthy, Speaker of the House. As Speaker of the House, you can contact him and tell him what you think. Tell him what I think as far as I know. Fucking jerk-offs. And once again, folks, it is crazy. I almost forgot somebody, folks. I almost forgot somebody. These fruitcakes are a member of the cult of death, right? There's a vegan movement out there. And by the way, did you know it is anti-Christian? And this one is gaining popularity, folks. The raw vegan. It's gaining popularity. The vegan diet, especially this raw veganism, right? Its influencers on social media are pushing this lifestyle, just like the trans and the LGBTQA and all the other fruitcakes. They're pushing their crap on social media, right here on YouTube, right here on Twitter, right here on Instagram, right here on Facebook, everywhere. Right, so this ding-dong raw vegan influencer died of starvation, according to reports. Someone's trying to claim that she had a disease. Well, yeah, she's unhealthy because all she ate, she was in the tropics somewhere. All she ate was raw fruit, tropical fruit. And if you've seen pictures of this freak, she looked like a walking skeleton. She did it to herself. Now, I want you to understand, folks, who these people are. A Cape Coral mother. That's down there in Florida, very close to where Uman and I were. A Cape Coral mother was found guilty of starving her 18-month-old son to death because she fed him only raw fruits and raw vegetables. Starved to death. What's that tell you? You can't live on just vegetables. So as a prepper, prep to action. On the prep part, make sure that food, water, shelter, clothing. Yeah, the food you have, meat, protein. You don't want to find yourself without protein and looking at your neighbor's leg going, I could make a roast out of that. Not a good deal. Anyways, folks, all of these left-wing Democrat socialist cults are anti-life. They are death cults, and they are emerging. We need to be prepared and ready for that as it emerges, right? Just imagine all their death cults. Let's name a few. The COVID cult. Wear masks. Stay away. No touching anybody. No standing within 6 feet. And no sex. No affection. No human connection. Cover your face so nobody can see the emotional connection. That's the COVID cult. How about the Jim Jones juice cult? You have to get the juice or you lose your job. lose your insurance, lose your license, lose your ability to shop, use your ability to travel, to go anywhere, to do anything. Right? We hate you, non-Jewish native people. And get your booster. There's a death cult. I think I've already talked about 3 of them in just one day that came up that are high level. A lieutenant governor, NFL player, and a professional tennis player. There's an abortion cult. There's an abortion cult, right? And the people that are out on the street screaming and yelling they want more, they talk about the master they serve, right? Openly come out and say, this is one of our sacraments. I wonder who it could be.
Could it be Satan?
That's right. Satan once again. There's Satanists. Of course, they're a death cult. The satanic cult itself, the satanic temple, is out there. And they want after-school clubs for kids. You want more death cult from the left? How about the depopulation cult? There's too many people here. We need to euthanize people. We need to kill old people. That way we can have their stuff too. There's just too many people. The world can't sustain them. They've been saying that, folks, since the 1800s, by the way. Did you know that? That's right. I found traces of that bullshit belief system back when Darwin was alive. The world just can't support that many people. So there's a depopulation cult. There is a bugs for food cult. That's right. All of this food substitute and protein substitute, that's a cult. And of course, as described today, the raw veganese cult. Veganism, it's a cult. And all of these things lead to death. Wow. I couldn't help. I had to get that one in, folks. When I read that, I was like, no way. No way. Now, it is a Too Dumb Tuesday. That's exactly what this is. So let's do it. Let's get more dumb, shall we? Folks, the shit is hit the fan. These people are off the hook stupid. CNN even came out. You know how stupid they are? After all of their anti-Trump stuff, after all of their we hate Trumps and Republicans are Nazis and this and that and the other, they admit that there is a, quote, very real possibility for Trump to win the 2024 presidential election. How does CNN know? How can they even say that? I mean, aren't they supposed to be reporting that Trump has been indicted 500 billion times and he's going to go to prison until his bones turn into dust? Nope, they admit it, folks. What do they know? They know it's all bullshit. They do. I'll give you more, right? The Wall Street Journal, they're turning on their stupid people as well. They're so dumb that they've turned on themselves. The Wall Street Journal, a columnist there, says the obsession with climate change is, quote, a real mental disorder. Well, for the first time in years, I'm agreeing with the Wall Street Journal. Folks, real mental disorder. These people that celebrate mental disorders are a death cult. Oh, so you have a penis, but you're a girl. Keep doing that. Why don't you go ahead and cut that thing off too? Death cult. No reproducing from stupid people. I tell you, folks, you want more stupid? How about this? Right? Poland, folks. Poland is scared. Why is the country of Poland scared? Well, because Wagner, the private military contractor for Russia, in other words, a private military that Russia supplies and pays, they've privatized their killing machine, folks. Those fighters, those killers are still on the border of Belarus and Poland. They're calling it the Suwalki Gap or Suwalki Gap, right? It could become a major focus of World War III conflict breaking out. Wasn't it Poland, the country of Poland, the leaders of Poland that were talking all kinds of shit about Russia months ago? We're going to give Ukraine our jets. We're going to give Ukraine tanks And Germany, you're going to give them tanks too, or you're pro-Russian. They've been talking shit and talking shit and talking shit. And now here we are. Here we are. They're looking for a fight. And this reminded me, it absolutely reminded me of an old analogy, an old kind of joke. And it's how the First World War and also the Second were explained as if they were a pub fight. So this is what happened in World War One. Okay, we're at a bar, we're at a pub. Germany, Austria, and Italy all stood together in the middle of the pub. When Serbia bumps into Austria and spills Austria's pint, Austria demands Serbia buy it a completely new suit because there are splashes on his trouser leg. Germany expresses its support for Austria's point of view. Britain recommends everybody calm down a bit. Serbia points out that it can't afford a whole suit, but offers to pay for cleaning Austria's trousers. Russia and Serbia look at Austria. Austria asks Serbia, who's it looking at? Russia suggests that Austria should leave its little brother alone. Austria inquires as to whose army will resist Russia and compelling it to do so. Germany appeals to Britain that France has been looking at it and that this is sufficiently out of order that Britain should not intervene. Britain replies that France can look at who it wants to, that Britain is looking at Germany too, and what is Germany going to do about it? Right? Germany tells Russia to stop looking to Austria, or Germany will render Russia incapable of such action. Britain and France ask Germany whether it's looking at Belgium now. Turkey and Germany go off in a corner and whisper. When they come back, Turkey makes a show of not looking at anyone. Germany rolls up its sleeves, looks at France, and punches Belgium. France and Britain punch Germany. Austria punches Russia. Germany punches Britain and France with one hand and Russia with the other. Russia throws a punch at Germany, but misses and nearly falls over. Japan calls over from the other side of the room that it's on, Britain's side, but stays there. Italy surprises everyone by punching Austria. Australia punches Turkey and gets punched back. There are no hard feelings because Britain made Australia do it. France gets thrown through a plate glass window, but gets back up and carries on fighting. Russia gets thrown through another one, gets knocked out, suffers brain damage, and wakes up with a complete personality change. They're commies now, right? Italy throws a punch at Austria and misses, but Austria falls over anyway. Italy raises both fists in the air and runs around the room chanting. America waits until Germany is about to fall over from sustained beating from Britain and France. Then America walks over and smashes Germany with a bar stool and pretends it won the fight all by itself. Now all the chairs are broken and the big mirror over the bar is shattered. Britain and France and America agree that Germany threw the first punch. So the whole thing is Germany's fault. While Germany is still unconscious, they go through its pockets, steal its wallet, and buy drinks for all of their friends. I can just see these assholes wearing like the country flag as a suit and just standing around saying this is exactly what happened. I'm seeing that happening in Europe. I'm seeing that happening. You know, Turkey walks over to Russia and says, hey, we're your friend. And then Turkey walks over to everyone in Europe and goes, no, I'm your friend too. I'm your friend, right? And America's talking shit from across the room. We'll kick your ass. But then they give like a, you know, pointers and a knife and some weapons to Ukraine, who's stupid enough to stand in front of Russia and get beat to death. While Poland stands in back, goes, you won't do that. No, you're not going to do that. We'll kick your ass. And then Belarus comes up to Ukraine and goes, who do you think you're talking to, man? And he's like, hey, you, Belarus is picking on me, everybody. Meanwhile, France is like, giving more stuff to Ukraine. You know, just take these weapons and go, man. Meanwhile, Hungary and Romania are taking weapons that are supposed to be given to Ukraine, and they're selling them to Turkey and selling them to Africa. You get my drift? Anyways, the same shit is happening, right? You got North Korea across the other side of the room, a midget in the room, and they're talking shit to everybody. We'll kick all your asses, right? And Japan's like, not if we can help it. But we'll just stay over here and keep an eye on you, North Korea, while everyone else deals with that. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed that. My rendition of World War III and how it's shaping up as if it were a bar fight. What do you think, man? How'd I do? Oh, what a fucking too stupid Tuesday. I tell you what, let's do this. Let's go to the inner circle. Let's get her done. And we're back. I couldn't help it. That was just too fucking fun. I love that. The one for World War II is equally as good. But yeah, everyone picks sides in the world, and then they start talking trash, and someone has to get their ass kicked. All right, Mr. Ooman, where are we going with this? Orlando's got a part 1, which means there's going to be at least a part 2. And this is a doozy, folks. Hang on to your hats. He says, one of my guys received an email about power outages, coronal mass ejection, which is the sun burping a bunch of electrical garbage at us that fucks up the power system. Email about power outages, but his email spoke about it happening only in America. And they mentioned lockdowns. It looks innocent enough for an article about a coronal mass ejection, but it's definitely predicted programming, in my opinion, says Orlando. What are your thoughts about this? Am I right? Well, the interesting thing is, Orlando, is they've been predicting grid down for at least a decade. When I first started the Prepared Mind channel back in December of 2013, we're going to catch up to that 10-year anniversary, the proper 10-year anniversary. But back then, they had already created their blackout movies, their blackout scenarios, letting people know it's coming. Back then, 10 years ago in California, we had rolling blackouts. We had fires that were burning down the transmission corridors. Fires, they were pushing it back then. And they continue to. It makes me wonder, predictive programming, 100%. But I think like a failed economy, a failed currency, a failed political system, these things only will only occur, a collapse, an event, when the powers that be want it to happen, when they're ready for it to happen, when they have fully prepared themselves. That's when this all happens. So, is this the event? Is this it, Orlando? That I can't say. It almost seems to be an inevitability that we will have a grid down event. But will it be a CME, which they've been advertising? Solar cycle, sun cycle, oh my God, right? They throw all the fear porn at us and then say, you preppers and patriots need to shut up. Unbelievable. So is it going to be terrorists? Now, remember this also, Orlando. We've had idiot terrorists from sea to shining sea shoot up transformers in the last couple of years. Something I discussed, well, folks, at least 6-7 years ago. I described how you can shoot them. They're just basically a steel bucket with oil in there. You drain the oil and they short circuit and bam, explosion. Right? They're all fucked up. Now, they can do that. Or they can do an EMP, as you and I have discussed in some communications. They could do an EMP. They can claim it's a coronal mass ejection. It's a sun issue. It's natural. It's nature. So it's good for you, right? And then we have exactly what was described by the president of the U.S. Oil and Gas Association. That's right. A climate emergency. Oh my God, it's all messed up and it's a climate emergency. It's too hot. We can't get the grid back up. We need to keep everyone locked down. Is it going to happen? Something's going to happen. Something's going to happen, folks. Something is going to happen. Let me give you a little taste of what's going to happen. You are going to be required to use your food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, and your means of self-defense. You're going to have to do it. Now, let's just say you're in an area full of idiots and leftards. You're going to be more active than someone who lives in the country. Someone who has, say, a long driveway, or they live down a very rural road, or they're out in the farmland and they can see you coming from miles away and be prepared to whack you when you get closer. One way or the other, though, I think we're all going to have to deal with it. And here is an example of why. In Missouri, the Democrat Party there has made a grievous mistake in alerting us to its belief systems. So a complete and total jackass named John Cooper, who is a Biden and Obama acolyte. He is a Democrat socialist lover. And Monday, he tweeted a photo of a pro-Trump house that is covered in signs and flags, right? You got a Trump worshiper. So he posts a photo of this and he says, quote, "What would you do if this was your next door neighbor?" That was his tweet. Well, folks, when you put a juicy tweet like that out in front of a bunch of retards with political power, they do stupid shit. Too dumb to believe, but it's true. The Missouri Democrat Party responded with this lyrics from a song. The roof is on fire, and it had a little fire emoji. We don't need no water. Let the shit burn. Well, it was insert your word is what their tweet said. I'm just putting shit in there. That's the official response of the Missouri Democrat Party. The roof is on fire. Let it burn. They responded by calling for the home to be burned. My thoughts on this? The political left is continuing to call for violence, arson, and death. They are the death cult of politics. What is my agenda? What is my push, my politics? Be a good person, be moral, be decent, be prepared for all things at all times, regardless of what's going on out there. Be prepared. Treat everyone the way you would want to be treated. The golden rule. The golden rule. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And do unto others if they try to do it to you. There's another one for you. Right? I don't turn the other cheek to these fruitcakes, folks. They ain't my brothers. They ain't my sisters. Anyways, that's it. They're going to be pushing for this violence, just like back in 2020 when Kamala Harris would free people out of jail. And then she would tell them, keep doing what you're doing. Don't stop. You keep doing your violence. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it now. All right. Ooman, Jolene, who wants to step up next? And by the way, thank you, Orlando. And it is Ooman. And folks, Ooman's observations, I haven't looked at it yet. I'm not looking. It's good stuff. He says, saw some bar in Texas advertising a $1 Bud Light night on Facebook. Boy, were they getting ratioed in the comments. I'm sure they were. I'm sure they were getting lampooned, lambasted, and trolled. People aren't forgetting this. After decades and decades of America drinking that shit swill of a beer, anything Anheuser-Busch, and being told it's American because they got horses, and it's American because it's got an eagle. Anheuser-Busch, it's American, even though it's made with rice. That's right, folks. Budweiser's rice beer. It is not barley, and it's not oats. Yeah, it's rice beer. Anyways, let us continue. Thank you, man. Jane Dixon steps in and says, I have come to believe they have Joe. They want Obama. Joe Obama. You bet. One and the same, folks. One and the same. we all, they're finding out some big stuff, folks. I'll get to it in a second if I got a chance. There's so much going on. I just want to let you and remind you that silence is violence. If you don't speak up, then your people are getting hurt. Well, there's a criminal on a bike today who refused to speak. Reporters were asking this guy questions as he rode his bike, and he was silent. And that silence is violence against America. He refused, this bicyclist, to address why he lied about his involvement in his son's overseas business deals that required, let's see, extortion and graft, bribery and threats. And yeah, that would be Joe Biden. Ignoring reporters who are starting to ask questions, shout questions at him. This is great. I'm enjoying the shit out of it. Do I expect Joe to go to jail? No. Should he be impeached? Hell yeah. Will he be impeached? I don't know. They're going to go into recess. Congress, the House of Representatives, which is where impeachments start, is going to go on recess. Do you think you and I are going to forget everything that Joe has done, everything that Hunter has done, all the shaking down? I don't know if you recall in 2020 during all the, the limited debates, Joe Biden called President Trump a clown for bringing up the information about Hunter doing a dirty business deal with the mayor of Moscow's wife. Well, it came out today, or came out yesterday, that deal happened and that Joe was involved. How much more of this do we have to put up with, folks? How much more of this do we have to put up with? I'll give you some more Too Stupid Tuesday. How much more they're going to feed you. Oh, they want to feed you a shit sandwich and tell you it's great, folks. Representative Democrat moron Goldman is a liberal turd, folks. And he wants to say, well, Joe Biden, he's just a bad guy. He's just done what he's done because he's sad. We're now excusing criminal behavior, fucking treason, because he's sad. That's one of the lamest talking points I've ever heard. Democrats are betarded, folks. Yes, they are. But they're in charge, folks. They're in charge of states. They're in charge of major cities. They're in charge of Washington, D.C. Let me give you another big, fat shit sandwich that make you laugh, right? There's a jackass activist, Democrat, no doubt, in New York City. His name is Curtis Sliwa. I don't even know what kind of name that is. Curtis Sliwa. And he's pissed at illegal aliens. Imagine that, a Democrat pissed at illegal aliens. They've inconvenienced him. So he's pissed. He says this: they need to go back to where they came from because they serve no purpose here. Where the fuck do they serve a purpose then, jackass? Right? Finally, a liberal gets it. They serve no purpose here. Right? These are asshole New York liberals. You got the same kind of liberals in California. They're asshole liberals. In every big city, even in the great states of Texas, Florida, they have asshole liberals in their big cities. But they figured it out when they've been inconvenienced enough, when they realize their money is being spent on illegals, because they're now seeing it. So this is kind of like a massive good move by Governors Abbott and DeSantis, by sending these people right into their city so they have to deal with them. They see what the cost is, the difficulties, the strain, how it affects their standard of living. Idiots are screaming at their city councils, hey, get these illegals out of here. This is Chicago. We don't like them. They're sucking the life out of our city. Well, you fucking liberals are sucking the life out of the country. I'm glad they finally get it. But does that mean they'll change their belief systems? No. They just want you, red state America, to take them back into your towns. How do you think? I mean, this is incredible. How does New York City, Chicago, Sacramento, California, that's the state capital, and Washington, D.C., How do they think Texas feels? And the border towns in New Mexico, Arizona. Imagine trying to live in San Diego. Very expensive, beautiful city, folks. Right on the coast. The weather there is unbelievably good. I've been to San Diego, as a jarhead for quite a while. Just beautiful. I was there a few years again. Fucking beautiful. San Diego. If I had to live in a big city, I would want it to be on the coast where I could go to the beach and drink beer. Wouldn't that be great? These fucking morons. And they're not going to give up. They're so stupid. They're calling for the programs that they love to be done, but not really. Just get them out of their city. I mean, their programs are idiotic. Absolutely idiotic. I mean, Ford is going to lose billions of dollars on their EVs, their electric vehicles. Well, Build Back broke. Oh, darn. Yeah, right. Built Ford broke. No, it's supposed to be Built Ford tough. Right? What are they doing? They just throw caution to the wind and start doing this shit thinking it's going to work. Stunning, stupid, stunning stuff. All right, man, Jolene, who else do we have on the Prepared Mind Inner Circle? Who wants to? We got name redacted. Oh, sacrifice. We're back to sacrifice, are we? Like the German people need to sacrifice their standard of living. They need to sacrifice their wealth, right? Like Obama, he sacrifices. Well, the only thing he sacrifices apparently is his chef, right? And Al Gore, he really sacrifices. Oh, you bet. He only flies on Airstream G6s or Gulfstreams, right? Yeah. He doesn't. He won't use a whole 747 the way Trump does. Yeah, Jojo. Soros, the Rothschilds. He says, fuck every last one of these deadly Marxist mentality communist pinkos. And that, my friend, is how you say it. Folks, get mad, but don't get violent. Get mad, get energized, get enthusiastic, and prep to action. And if you need anything for your preps, you've got a couple of options. You can go down to your local sporting goods store and you can say, I need that kind of stuff because I need to be prepared. You could go to REI and let some left-wing granola eating fruitcake sell you some shit that you'll never use. Or you could go to the preparedmind.club and you can see items and articles that we recommend you buy, not for a hike, but for shit hitting the fan. And speaking of hike, the left-wing jackasses are still calling for safe space trails. That's right, for trails where minorities can go on a trail walk where white people aren't. They're still pushing that stupid shit. Do you think the bear gives a shit? Now, I'll tell you what, there was this great movie. It was a pretty good movie. It was called, it had Tom Berenger. It had Clancy Brown as the bad guy, and he was a great bad guy. And it had Kirstie Alley also, back before she ballooned up to 300 pounds. But Sidney Poitier was in this movie. He was actually the star of the movie. And he's trying to chase the bad guy who is trying to get away with all these gems. And the bad guy gets off a trail and he kidnaps Kirstie Alley and tells her to take him through the wilderness so he can get to Canada. Well, Tom Berenger is going to help Sidney Poitier. And if you don't know who Sidney Poitier is, he's a very famous actor and he's black. Been around in the acting business since I think the 60s. I think the movie was Shoot to Kill. I think that's what it's called, Shoot to Kill. Anyway, Sidney Poitier, he's walking through the woods and a bear, big giant brown bear or grizzly, I can't remember which it was. It's an acting bear. I think it's the same bear from Great Outdoors. This bear stands up and goes, roar! And so, Tom Berenger takes off or something like that. And Sidney Poitier looks at the bear and he goes, roar! And he yells at the bear, right? And the bear's like, oh shit, and he leaves. And Tom Berenger goes, what the hell were you thinking? He's like, well, everyone else up here seems like they've never seen a black person, so why should the bear be any different? I love that kind of shit. It was a great joke. And speaking of a great joke, Rand Paul says he has Fauci, quote, dead to rights. Everything about this is rotten to the core, says Senator Rand Paul regarding Fauci, Dr. Doom. He says, and if we don't bring him, Fauci, to justice, we'll never get the control we need on this type of research to try and prevent it from happening again. He's talking about the gain of function, weaponized bio research that apparently is being done in America too, right down there in the great little town of Fresno, and who knows what other small towns in America. Well, and he says, I have this to say, perhaps Rand Paul needs to open his frickin' eyes and see that Biden is the exact same thing. And he should say something like, we'll never get control of our country if we don't take care of this tyrannical government, right? Something like that. Wake up, senators. Wake up, Rand Paul, you especially. Wake up, congressmen. Wake the fuck up. Why is he fighting with Fauci when he should be going after Joe Biden? Where is Ted Cruz? Where are all of the senators? Why aren't they standing up and telling the Congress, the Republicans in the House, would you impeach this son of a bitch so we can have a trial? After all that he's done, all the evidence now, folks, testimony is evidence. That testimony has to be refuted or it stands. They need to have a trial. You can't even begin an impeachment without an inquiry. Have they started an inquiry? Nope. No, because POS, Kevin Shitheel McCarthy, hasn't done his job. He took an oath. And I believe that part of him becoming Speaker of the House was to impeach Biden the moment the evidence was there. The evidence is there. Do we have a justice system or do we have a uniparty? Your guess is as good as mine. Mr. Ooman, Jolene, what do we got now? Who is there? And we got Orlando with a statement. He says a Department of Energy and Environmental Agency vehicle, DEEP, was broken into and robbed last week a few towns away from Mr. Orlando. I wonder if Orlando's in Orlando. That'd be convenient. So a federal government vehicle was broken into and robbed. All they took were their AR-15s. Was it one or two? I don't know. But there was an AR-15. At the very least, there was one. Things that make you go, well, see, I wonder, was it an AR-15 or was it an M16? Did it have a selector switch and fully auto, Orlando? I don't know. But if the news story, which of course you shared with me, shows that it's an AR-15, well, that's the most deadly gun on the planet. I wonder how they'll spin that if they want to use that. Oh, these citizens out there, see what they're doing? The only reason they have these guns is they're stealing them from the government. Maybe the government should not have their AR-15 out in the open. I mean, I used to see them all the time. In fish cops, Fish and Game, Bureau of Land Management, Ranger trucks. They got that AR-15 right there between the seats. It never scared me. I just thought, man, I'd like to shoot that. I bet he's got a selector switch on that. Good stuff. I just have to own my own, I guess. Anyways, folks, wow. You got to be in good shape to do this. You got to be in great mental shape, right? It's like weightlifting, right? If you lift weights all the time, you're strong, you can do it, you can handle it. Yeah, you can carry a big load. It's a lot of work, but you can do it. Jolene's telling me we have 4 more questions, so I need to shut the fuck up. But if you're not doing what we do here every day, if you're not at the very least on Sunday Night Live, you're not working out. Your brains are atrophying. You're not keeping up with what's happening. So when shit hits the fan, you're not going to understand. Your brain's going to be weak. It's like, I don't know what to do. That's why we want you to share that internet address. Be sure and hit the thumbs up on YouTube. You YouTube bastard, you. Hit that thumbs up. Get people paying attention, waking up, and taking action. Okay, Jolene, I'll shut up. What do we got? We got Chin Music. He says, John, man, I suggest you make a Dan Goldman the poster boy for Too Stupid Tuesday. You know I would, Chin. I would absolutely do that. If anyone knew who the fuck Dan Goldman was, he's like the third string quarterback. Like the quarterback, he's out there and he gets clobbered, right? All right, there goes Terry Bradshaw. He's down and he's out. Or no, let's try it again. Joe Montana gets clobbered, right? And they're like, oh, shit, Joe's out. Right? Well, we'll bring in Steve, whatever the hell his name is, Steve Young. He's the backup for the San Francisco 49ers. He's a great quarterback, too. And Steve Young's out there and he's doing his thing. Bam, he gets fucked up. It's like, ooh, third string quarterback. You know, well, get the kicker over there. Tell him to start practicing throwing the ball. We need him to run for his fucking life like Fran Tarkenton. I'm aging myself. Anyway, yeah, no one knows who the third string Democrat is. They bring out Dan Goldman as if anyone's going to believe him. They're like, are we supposed to believe this guy? Even the Democrats are like, who the fuck is he? Yeah. Anyways, thanks, Chin. That's fucking awesome. I need a poster made up. Maybe Kaz will make a fucking poster of stupid Democrats for us. Okay, who's next? Mikey G says, Ukraine is using captured North Korean 122 millimeter rockets against the Russians. They say they sometimes work. That's just freaking beautiful. How the hell are they getting North Korean rockets? How are the Ukrainians getting them? Unless they were formerly Russian/Soviet 122 millimeter rockets that Russia was contracting, or the Soviet Union was contracting with North Korea to give them jobs so they could make some money, so they could afford to buy a couple grains of rice for their people. That sounds about right. And the Ukrainians are like, well, that's what we got left. No one wants to buy that shit. We have to sell the American shit for money. By the way, America, our country, the U.S. government, rather, not our country, but the government has given as much money and funds and support to Ukraine as they make normally in their GDP, gross domestic product. Oh, that was a cerveza sneeze. Damn, that hurt. Oh, cleared my head out, though. Okay, next, Jolene. Charles Gentry putting in his 2 cents. He says, I will help anyone willing to help themselves and have true compassion. I do not suffer lazy, thieving, or victimhood thinking. Life is too short for bullshit. Schulbit, fuck the BS. Yeah, I mean, that's just it. I'm going to help somebody who's willing to help themselves. You bet. All these welfare case, stick your hand out, screw everyone else, right? Sell everyone else out. Fuck them. Okay, let's go. Jolene says, one more, John, you're going to make it. You're going to make it. Name redacted. He says, it will not be you that chooses violence. It will be them that make it a requirement. And name redacted comes off with something sounding like Confucius say, it will not be you that choose violence. It will be them that make it a requirement. Okay, one last thing. I'm going to end the show on this. I read this as I was driving home, coming back to the Prepared Mind studio. It was a car. It was covered in bumper stickers. First thing I thought, liberal. Then I saw a thing that said, I am gay and I vote. And I thought, definitely a liberal, right? And it had a full color cartoon Jesus on the back windshield. And I thought, okay, it's a Jesus loving gay person who votes. And it said, right, you don't deserve your privilege if you don't use it to help others. I was like, okay, yeah, that sounds right. And then it said, the First Amendment gives you the free speech and the Second Amendment helps you protect it. I thought, now we got a gun-loving free speech advocate who also likes to be a butt pirate and somehow thinks Jesus is good with that while he votes. And then right? So don't use your privilege unless you're going to help others. But it had a raised fist, right? The BLM raised fist in another sticker. And I thought, this is incredible. This person is an overt Marxist, racist, homosexual who thinks Jesus is okay with all that, while they vote and pretend to know and understand the Constitution. And it went on and on. The car made a turn before I could read any more stickers. I just made a couple of mental notes and wanted to tell you guys, it is a too dumb Tuesday, but it's real, folks. It's real. And I did not finish all of the news stories, and we're out of time. Out of time. Out of time. I can't help it. I can't help it, folks. But know this, the CDC, he's staying neutral. See, that's just it, Chinny. Chinny says he's staying neutral so no one will kick his ass. But if you say one thing to trigger a leftist, they're now allowed to kick your ass, right? There's your whole, you triggered me and it was a microaggression, right? Just incredible. Folks, the CDC is warning that anthrax is going to be used in a terror attack. And just earlier this month, the Food and Drug Administration, the other white meat, right, CDC, FDA, they approved an anthrax vaccine. How about that? And now anthrax is broken out in cattle in Minnesota. First time in over a decade, anthrax has shown up, and now it's being thrown around as a buzzword. Folks, it is on. The stupid is on. It's hit the fan. Chance favors the prepared mind. Are you Semper Fi, always faithful? God bless America.